Okay, so let's go through the webinar related marketing funnel. All right. So this is used when you have to make a funnel and sequence it through for the people who have come to your live webinar, or they have paid during the webinar and gone to join your co-product, or assimilated a lead magnet or a tripwire, if you will. And then there would be an automated webinar which can be used to sequence things through, and people automatically go through a payment process and reach to your core product the way you want them to. Okay. So with that said, let's go through each of them discreetly. Right. So in the live webinar, what happens? You have traffic which is coming from various sources. And if you remember, we have gone through this in the time when we were talking about how to scale webinars. Now it is repeated in a funnel format. How do you take the people attending the webinar after you've taken you've captured the lead, okay? And lead capture happens during a landing page itself, where people will get the details. So I'll give you a classic example. You have set some sort of an ad out there in the social circle, in the social media, which results into traffic coming into your landing page to see what sort of webinar it is, or participate there. When they come there, they put in their details in terms of credentials and their email. That's where the lead capture happens. You've taken that formulates your live webinar funnel. And then when the live webinars are happening, you check that funnel with the people who attended. So some of them might not attend, so they become your retargeting crowd. Okay. Now during the webinar, some of them will convert, some will not. Again, a retargeting can happen, right? So that's the second level. Hence the purpose of this funnel during the webinar process. So for a direct live webinar, people would pay. They would pay for the during the because they're convinced they will pay for the webinar, pay in the webinar. They would have paid for the webinar earlier, and now this is for the co-product. So they pay during the webinar, and then they join the access and they access the program that you want to participate in terms of a digital asset. Okay. Now this is a series for your live webinar. What happens when you have this is a paid webinar? In the paid webinar, people who are during your ad, you would have said, pay us X amount of dollars, X amount of rupees, and the lead capture, the traffic would have gone to a lead capture zone, for example a landing page, where you're giving them again free chapters, free shipping, or you're giving them some lead magnet of sorts for them to buy your webinar ticket again, right? So you do that. During this process, they put their credentials, right? Because they would have wanted the incentive that you're giving them. So they to take that incentive, you ask for the credentials, they give the credentials, and then you move them to a webinar ticket zone because it's a paid element, right? So with doing that and putting the credentials, you've taken to the place where people can pay for the webinar ticket because you've costed them for and they were ready to buy it. So with the freebie, that's an incentive so that they surely buy it. So when they go to webinar ticket zone, another landing page or a thank you page, if you will, that will give them the credentials of the webinar along with the amount that they've paid. Okay. And then they read the webinar as a live event, and then they pay for your final course or a final core product that or digital asset that you want to give them. That's the series of elements for paid webinar. And again, who's attended, who's not, who went to buy from the first lead capture page to the webinar ticket page, all that can be captured through. And based on that, the retargeting happens. Okay. And these are all automated, right? Using the applications and the platform that was mentioned through. So this is putting them as part of that funnel and the sequencing of emails that go into play for doing this. Got it? And what is the matter and the communication in those emails? Okay. So they play important role, hence the communication, hence the copywriting, and hence the research and everything, right? So now I'm assuming now you're putting the dots in place in case you've not already done that. Okay, with that, the automated webinar funnel, what happens here? Okay, now whatever is happening for your live webinar, you already recorded your webinar, you put it out there. So that system now starts working automatically. Now you're away from the system, okay, part of the blitzscaling activity. Now your webinar that you constructed and created for that specific digital assets that you have put it out there, you do this by now letting people go to your automated webinar. Okay. which they come, they pay, they see, and then they convert or they don't convert. But then if they don't convert, then they are retargeted through the retargeting mechanism, and the sequence of events starts from that point of view, right? This is all automated through. Okay, so this is the goal you should be targeting to achieve, because you have enough live webinars for all your digital assets out there, and then you run each of them accordingly. So this is the automated webinar funnel, and you realize who are coming, who are not, because some people want to be seen live, right? That's why they attend the live webinars, and some don't mind because they are interested in the digital asset that you're actually targeting by virtue of doing this. So you have two different funnels looking at these things. Sometimes they have a common lot. That's okay, and that's a hybrid model, right? If you will. So then at a later date, when you have to focus on this and you have other digital asset with a different auto webinar, you have a targeting audience for the similar taste that they have. Got it? So this is where the analysis again take place, and then you target and retarget people and so on and so forth. So this is as much for the webinar related activities. And now we'll go into the areas of consulting, that is high ticket consulting. We'll go into the live seminars and live bootcamp activities that take place. Okay, and you know the difference between all of them, between a webinar and the live seminar and the live bootcamps, etc. Right? If not, Rise 1, Rise 2 is important. Otherwise, this can be brought up during the Rise circles, and I can clear it out. Okay, so let's jump in there, and I will see you there in a minute.